The ships emerged from hyperspace at the periphery of the solar system, their crews poised to commence their mission. Their objective was the humans, a nascent species that had only recently begun to explore the cosmos. Intelligence reports had described the humans as ideal candidates for enslavement, physically robust and resilient, yet lacking in advanced technology to pose any significant threat. The slavers activated their tracer beams and initiated scans for human spacecraft to capture, anticipating an uncomplicated and profitable raid. Within moments, they detected a modest scientific vessel carrying only a dozen humans, optimal initial targets. Employing their grab beams, they seized the unsuspecting ship, drawing it into their docking bay and quickly overpowering the frightened crew inside. Despite their screams and struggles, the humans, now shackled, were no match for the strength of their captors. As the slavers prepared to depart with their human cargo, alarms resonated throughout their ship. Scans revealed a formidable array of human ships exiting the system. Hundreds of battlecruisers, destroyers, and fighters converged on the slaver fleet in a well-coordinated response. Caught off guard, the slavers attempted to activate their faster-than-light (FTL) drives to escape, but the human fleet had already encircled them, effectively blocking all escape routes. From the bridge of his flagship, Admiral James Steele addressed the encircled slavers with a stern ultimatum. Return our people and surrender immediately or be reduced to cosmic debris. Despite their precarious situation, the slavers opened fire, unwilling to relinquish their captives easily. However, swarms of nimble human fighters dodged the incoming fire and launched a barrage targeting the slavers' armaments. As the human forces intensified their onslaught and reinforcements continuously arrived, Steele directed his destroyers to execute flanking maneuvers. It soon became apparent to the slavers that they had been strategically corralled into a lethal trap. The humans unleashed a relentless assault with missiles, railguns, and lasers. Explosions ravaged the slaver ships as the humans intensified their barrage, ultimately resulting in the destruction of 2 vessels and the crippling of a third. With no options remaining, the surviving slavers capitulated. Human marines boarded the remaining ships, liberating not only their compatriots but also prisoners of various species, all of whom had been subdued by the slavers. Once the ships were secured and no enemy life signs were detected, Admiral Steele ordered a final barrage to ensure the complete destruction of the last slaver ship. The bridge crew erupted in victorious cheers, quickly resuming their professional demeanor as they awaited further commands from Steele. Recall all fighters. Set course for Seoul, he instructed, anticipating the need to inform the Republic's Council of their decisive victory over the Ari cartel. Word of the humans' unexpected and resolute defense spread rapidly among the freed slaves. The initial underestimation of the humans by their captors, the presumption that they would be docile and easy to subdue, had been dramatically overturned. Instead, the humans had liberated countless individuals across several star systems in a single decisive action. In the ensuing months, Earth became a focal point for grateful refugees and diplomats, all eager to engage with the human race. Military leaders from various systems sought alliances with the humans, aiming to benefit from their newly proven strength and resolve. To fortify their defenses against possible retaliatory actions from other slaving factions, news of humanity's formidable emergence on the galactic stage traveled swiftly through the networks of the slave trade. This news stirred a mixture of fear and respect among the interstellar community. The Ari cartel, one of the most formidable slaver groups, had been significantly weakened, yet numerous other factions continued their nefarious operations from the lawless border systems. Despite the recent victory, countless individuals remained enslaved, necessitating further intervention. In response, a council comprising representatives from allied species convened to deliberate on the establishment of a coalition to oversee security in the border regions and counteract slaver activities. Given their recent accomplishments and strong commitment to liberty, the humans were selected to spearhead this initiative. Under the command of Admiral James Steele, the newly formed Emancipation Coalition began executing meticulously planned raids into the heart of slaver territories. Although resources were scarce, the coalition's daring and determination compensated for their material shortfalls, consistently achieving the liberation of captives from perilous engagements. After a year of relentless operations, intelligence reached the Coalition about a remote slave colony on the desert planet of Akron. This colony was reputed to be a fortress designed to thwart any rescue attempts, where slaves reportedly perished from exhaustion under the harsh conditions. Despite the daunting defenses, Admiral Steele resolved to orchestrate a liberation mission driven by the plight of the over 12,000 slaves reported on Akron. The operation commenced with an orbital assault aimed at neutralizing the planet's defense systems to facilitate a ground invasion. However, as the dropships approached, they were ambushed by hidden ion cannons, causing significant damage to Steele's flagship and impairing its navigational capabilities. On the planet's surface, Coalition troops encountered unexpected resistance from slaver forces, including heavily armed fortifications that had escaped satellite detection. From his compromised bridge, Admiral Steele coordinated a counterattack, calling in bomber support to disable the ion cannons while additional forces defied orders to provide necessary reinforcement. The intense conflict persisted for 2 days, marked by fierce ground combat as Coalition forces methodically secured the territory towards the slave colony. Despite being outmatched in firepower and grappling with dwindling supplies, the resolve of Steele and his allies remained unbroken. As the Coalition forces converged on what they believed was the central slave-holding facility, they discovered to their dismay that it had been a decoy, never housing slaves but rather serving as a trap. As the realization dawned, the facility's security measures activated, trapping the Marines inside and exposing them to lethal toxins. Simultaneously, the surrounding bunkers revealed their true capability, unleashing a barrage from plasma cannons strategically positioned to eliminate the encircled liberators. The dire situation escalated as the slavers issued a final merciless command to obliterate the trapped Coalition forces. Amidst the unfolding catastrophe, Admiral Steele's thoughts were not of personal regret or fear, but remained steadfastly focused on the mission and the philosophy that had guided him throughout. No one left behind. His resolve highlighted the harsh realities faced in combating entrenched evils, acknowledging the severe risks and sacrifices involved in striving for a noble cause. In a defiant final act, Admiral Steele activated the fleet's tactical communications to broadcast live footage of the dire situation across the border worlds. Although a blanket jamming swiftly terminated the transmission, the brief glimpse into the grim reality was sufficient. The images sparked widespread indignation throughout civilized space, inciting a surge of support for the Emancipation Coalition. Recruitment offices were inundated with volunteers, eager to join the fight against the slavers and uphold the values of freedom and justice. In the wake of the battle, a wave of volunteers surged forward, eager to join the fight, while donations of credits, resources, and starships poured in from across the galaxy. The aftermath at Erin revealed a devastated landscape, yet amidst the destruction, a few resilient human survivors exemplified unyielding resistance. Though grievously wounded, these survivors became emblematic heroes, their plight and perseverance widely celebrated. The tale of the AC death trap and the indomitable spirit of its survivors catalyzed a fervent movement. Inspired by their example, entire systems rose in revolt against the seemingly impervious slaver dominance. Within 2 years, the Coalition facilitated the liberation of over 100 worlds, which now formed mutual defense leagues to safeguard their newfound freedoms, with Coalition forces providing strategic support. Amid these developments, Admiral Steele made it a point to visit the wards where the wounded from Erin were recuperating. Despite his own injuries, marked by the prosthetics he now depended on, Steele took the time to personally award medals to the heroes of Erin, commending their valor. Each ceremony was meticulously documented and broadcast, reinforcing the Coalition's message and commitment. However, the victories and expansions were not without significant losses. Casualty reports continued to accrue, each name a reminder of the high cost of their endeavor. During a particularly solemn ceremony, an aide handed Steele a slate with the names of over 200 Coalition members who had fallen in a recent operation on the factory world of Who. Among these was Cadet Terra Steele, a name that caught the Admiral's eye, a personal loss amidst the official toll. Cadet Steele had been killed during an orbital drop aimed at securing a strategic foothold. Her actions, defending her wounded comrades against overwhelming odds until she was overrun by enemy forces, earned her posthumous recognition with the Coalition star adorned with a gold braid for conspicuous bravery. Upon reading his own kin's name, the accumulated strain and sorrow overcame Admiral Steele. The facade of stoicism he maintained cracked, and he was momentarily overtaken by grief. The weight of every sacrifice under his command, particularly that of his relative, culminated in a rare moment of vulnerability. Tears marked the face of a man who had weathered countless battles but was profoundly affected by the personal cost of war. Despite years of rigorous discipline and conditioning himself to remain detached, Admiral Steele had always been prepared to sacrifice his own life for the cause. However, the premature death of Tara Steele, who had rushed into death's embrace ahead of him, represented a profound and unbearable loss. This moment of profound grief marked a rare breakdown in his stoic demeanor, a burden too profound for even such a resolute leader to shoulder without falter. As tears streamed down his face, those around him maintained a respectful silence, recognizing the depth of his pain. The sight of Admiral Steele, a figure synonymous with unyielding strength, openly displaying such sorrow moved everyone present. Decorated veterans and Medal of Valor recipients alike watched in silent solidarity, sharing in the communal mourning for all who had fallen. After a poignant pause, Admiral Steele regained his composure with evident effort. The raw emotions momentarily displayed were now shielded once again by a stern resolve. His eyes, alight with a vengeful fire, scanned the list of the fallen. Each name silently vowed to be remembered as he continued the grim tally of losses. When he resumed the ceremony, calling forward those next in line for recognition, his voice was as firm as ever. Yet those present sensed a changed timbre, a blend of sorrow, remorse, and perhaps simmering anger. The atmosphere was palpably charged, a silent acknowledgement that their struggle was far from over. With a renewed fervor born from shared grief and hardened resolve, the coalition prepared for further incursions into enemy territory, their actions fueled by a relentless desire for justice. The knowledge that their cause was righteous, combined with the indomitable spirit of their leader, galvanized the troops. They were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, driven by the certainty that their campaign was not only necessary but noble. Thus, the mission continued, each operation advancing deeper into hostile lands, fueled by courage and the memories of the fallen. More sacrifices would be made, but the commitment to liberating the oppressed would endure, pressing on one world at a time, one liberated soul after another.